today's video lesson, I will teach you how to make this blouse. She is a size P, I woven like Alan Eureka, and I put a 100G. I used to weave her all 3.5 skeins. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how it turned out. Now I didn't make the bar here. Here, look at this. I'll turn it over so you don't use any one. How did you get behind the doors? Yes, so there were 3 soap operas and socks of 100G to weave this blouse, and the needle I used was 2.5. Yes, and during the step-by-step class, I teach you to make all sizes from PP to GG. I teach you to take all the measurements so that your piece is right. So let's go to the step-by-step class. So, to make this blouse, I will use Eureka wool. She's the wool from, I think, Penguin, her name. Remembering that Penguin is the second line. Yeah, she doesn't have much information on the label, okay? She is a 100G ball and her text is fine. Her text is 200, it's 11, very fine wool. She's 100% acrylic. Wait here, so she doesn't say color name and she doesn't have much information really. So she is a very thin wool, very soft, nice to the texture of her, it's very nice. So it's 100G Eureka wool balls and the text number 200. To make with this wool, I will use the needle 2.5. Let me see if it's not blurred here, because you can visualize it. It's pretty complicated. I think you can visualize it here, right? A 2.5 needle. I will also use measuring tape, scissors, tapestry needle to make the seams and some, but it is markers. But it is not necessary that you can use thread of other colors. It is more to make a marking. Something like that, we will use the markers. If you don't have it, you can use a different color. Paper clips don't have not much of a problem if you don't. So this is the point that I'm going to use to make the blouse. It's called flower stitch. Yes, I have a video on the channel teaching you how to do this point. It's a very simple point and gives a very beautiful result for the piece, right? And for you to weave it, you need even numbered chains, right? Couples only. So to start here, I already made a cord because I need my blouse 50 cm wide. So I already made my cord with 120 chains because the wire is very thin. So you need a lot of chains here to give 50 centimeters. So I made 120 chains, which is an even number. It's for you to take measurements. You need to take 3 steps for it to work. The work of you so that there is no mistake when wearing the piece. Don't get tight. So here I took a photo of a person to show where you should take the measurements so that your work is successful. I always take 3 measurements that never make a mistake. Here in my plays, it's shoulder to shoulder. Oh, get out of here. Oh, shoulder to shoulder. One of the measurements is the circumference of the bust. And the circumference here, the hip circumference, is the the belly, right? This is independent for man, for woman, for child. Always take these 3 measurements because maybe the person has a wider shoulder. Then you do it by taking the measurement from your belly pocket and the blouse is tight. Yes, you take the measurement of the bust, for example, and the person has a very larger belly. In this case, it will be tight on the belly. The blouse will be that stretched blouse. So the ideal is for you to take these 3 measurements and take the largest of them. In my case, it's the circumference here of the bust, which is 100 centimeters. I don't know if it will appear to you, 100 centimeter bust measurement. right? So other measures you need to take as well. This is the cave. The cavity of is the sleeve. So the measurement of the circumference here, for the sleeve. So how do you take this measurement? You can go with the tape measure up here on the shoulder and go down here to about 22 fingers or so below the armpit. This measurement that you can take, or you can go around the tape here, go under the arm and through it here again, because you're going to need both sides. So if you measure from here to here, you're going to have to add up, right? In my case, it's 20 centimeters, so I have to add it up. It's going to be 40. So here I have 40 centimeters circumference. Okay, because I ran the tape here, under my arm and up here, right? Because then when I go to weave, I will weave with a hollow of 20 centimeters, because then I leave 20 in the front, 20 in the back, adding up to 40 centimeters. The same thing, blouse, I'm going to weave half now, because I'm going to weave front and back are front with 50 centimeters and back with 50 centimeters. This is how I always take measurements. Another measurement is the collar. So you're going to see where you want that collar to be on the person, right? So my collar, I want about 20 centimeters. Because I want her to make her more open. So I'm going to take here, from this little bone here, up to this one here. So measuring here, from here, it's my collar, which I'm going to have 20 away to make the collar, right? And then you will also take the length, so you can see how far the person who is the blouse is above the hip, a little further below the middle of the thigh, or short. What about the boys? Precisely, the younger ones are wearing the shorter blouse over the cause, pants, or even a little shorter, so it depends on the person's taste. So you measure the length as well, and the width here, from the shoulders to the pit, from the end of the shoulder to where did you mark the pit? Because here you will sew then front and back, so don't forget these measurements here. Normally mine is about 17 centimeters. I have to calculate it, it will work, I will see it clearly, while I will put it here to sew on the shoulder. But as the class progresses, it becomes clearer to you. So those are the measurements, okay? So take the 3 measurements and choose the largest. In my case, the one of the bust that gave 100 centimeters. So I need a cord with 50 centimeters because I will go down the back first. Then ahead, I'm not going to make mango hollow here. I'm going to weave straight, and I'm just going to stop here a little less to make 11 very small hollows. But in the NA, during the video class, everything gets much easier. I'll explain to you anything. I'll resume here with my drawing, okay? So that you understand very well. So before we start, take the measurements, get a good look. What's up? You can start with the chain cord. This blouse looks beautiful with a thicker thread, with the thinner thread, right? It's good, it's good. It's a pretty cute spot, so if you want it, it is. Maybe. If it doesn't get too clear here, explaining is the point, you can, is. I'm going to look there on my channel. I have a video just to teach this point, right? So let's go. So to do it, you need multiple chains of is multiple in, is multiple, no excuse, even numbers, always countless pairs. So I have to weave 50 centimeters here. You got it, right? Because 50 forward and 50 back, I'm going to have my 100 centimeters girth. So with this wool that I'm using tax 200 and needle 2.5, I made here 120 chains. I'm going to start weaving the stitch now, okay? So what? I will teach you throughout this. I'll hold the last one I did, which is career number 120, and organize it more closely. I hold my number 120 chain, and I'm going to do 3 more. Every time you do it like this, it will go well. Hence point, Oh, 12 and 3. Now you're going to make a high point on the one you held. Oh, or the fourth chain also gives. Oh, if you didn't hold it right, make a high point, you give the loop, look for the thread and take it off in 2 times. And throughout the whole career, you will make high points. Oh, only high points of that career. Oh, every base chain. A high point. So at the end of your career, you're going to have, in case if you make the same amount as mine, 121 points, right? Because these 3 little chains we made, it increased by 1. So when I finish my career, I have to have 121 points here. Oh, and the career goes like this. Oh, goes like... So you will weave only high stitches there. If you like the video already, leave your like, subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, and be sure to activate notifications. Do you want to click on that little bell next to subscribe? If it's so that YouTube always notifies you when I post a new video, so you don't miss anything on the channel. Remembering that this blouse too, I'm going to do the left-handed version, right? For those who are left-handed, it will help a lot. So on my channel, I'm making a playlist of left-handed videos. So everything I'm doing here, I make a left-handed version of the video, right? So I'm weaving here my entire career in high points until I get there in the last O. I'm going to weave, then as soon as I'm finished, I'll come back with you to explain how I'm going to do the next career. So I came back and I came down here, my highs, look at my whole career. And I knit everything and I measured it, and it went a little over 50 centimeters. So I undid 10 stitches I had done, now I got 50 centimeters, so pretty neat. Which is any marker, which was the points I had left. Yeah, I got pretty straight, 50 centimeters. Now I had freaked out, so I gave you 10 points. I said I started with 120, so now I have 110, actually 111, because we made those 3 extra chains. So in my junior career, I have 111 points, right? That's the only thing that changed here after I made this career. Now that I'm going to teach you the next career, now we start the detail of the point. So now coming to the end, I make a little chain and turn my work over here. I'm going to start my career with a medium. It's with a very low point. Okay, so I'm going to start here with a very low point. On the first point, this chain was just to gain height. So here, in the first one, I enter with the bubble and make a very low point. I'm going to make it very loose. In the next point here, I make a high point. Remembering that I'm not doing this blouse now, I'll do it later, and my bar will be 7 centimeters. So I'm going to go down 48 centimeters, then I'm going to make the bar. Okay? If you want to start with the bar, you can. Then make high points, and now this point detail. Here I made the high point. At the next point, I make another very low point, pull there, loop and step inside. At the next I make a high point. I make a high. At the next point, a very low point. I pull the thread, step inside. At the next a high point. At the next a very low point. Enter with needle, step inside. Here at the next a high point. Oops, a high point. Do the high point again. So the career gets like this, very low point, Then you follow this sequence until the end of your career. A very low point, a high point, a very low point, a high point now, a very low now, a high point. Very low point, high point, remembering to leave very excited, the very low point, and the career will become like this. Oh, wavy. This here is the reverse side. So the detail of the point that you will see when you turn the career. Oh, and go to do the right. Look how beautiful it is getting here. They look like popcorn that it is. They are little roses. That's why the name Ponto Florzinha, because it forms little flowers. A little rose. I don't know. It looks really nice, okay? You keep doing this until you reach the end of your career. I made a high point. Now, make a next very low, a next high, a very low. Then you should start. Oops, you should start your career with a very low point and finish with a very low point, right? High point, low point, high point, low point. And he continues to do so until the end of his career. I'm going to drop the rest of my points here from my career. Then when I miss reaching the end, I come back to show and explain the next career. So I came down throughout my entire career and missing here to finish. Then I made the lowest point. I'm going to make the highest point. And now here, oh, in the 3 chains, the ones we made to start, I make the very low point at the top, here of the 3rd. I enter with a needle and make the very low point. So I started and finished my career. With a very low point, now I'm going to make 3 chains that are equivalent to a high point. I'll turn the work around and look at the right side, how beautiful it turned out. Let me just organize it here for you. So this here is the right side. Here is the detail of the point. Now this career will only be one of high points. This first one is that I'm not going to do because I already made the 3 chains that are equivalent is a high point. Now I'm going to make a high point here. Oh, you're going to take your piece like this. Oh, it's going to turn a little bit, and here, oh, behind this ball here, oh, form 2 straps, oh, here behind, oh, and make the high point. I don't know if you visualized it well with this white thread. To the other high point, you go this way. Oh, at the very low point, if you open here, you will see, oh, this little space here. Oh, which is the very low point here. Oh, you enter with the needle and make the high point. The next one is here on the little flower. Oh, so you'll turn over here a little bit. Let me see if I can focus. Oh, the little flower. Here on the side. Oh, here. Oh. Form the chains. Oh, back here you take these 2 straps of the chain and make the high point, because then if you take it on top, you will disturb the little flower here, right? So it's back, pull here, oh, in this little detail here, oh, where you made the very low point, come here, you make the high point and the other high point behind the little flower. You take it here, turn around, oh, and in these straps, I'm cold wrapped up here in these straps here at the back. Oh, oh, behind that it forms, you make your high point. Oh, so it's going to be like this. You're going to resume the high points again. Oh, I'm just going to disperse here my thread, and I'll continue with you. All right, wire dispersed. Now I come back here, I make a high point, I do it here to the point, oh, in this little space that is here. Oh, I don't know if you are able to visualize it properly. oh here, oh on the side, oh here, oh I make a high point, oh I take the little flower here, turn it back here. Past the high point, then you will resume all the high points. Space orders here makes the high point is, you're going to have the amount of high points that you started the career. In my case, 111 points. So I'm going to do mine here. Oh, turn around. When you get here in Florezinha and take it here at the back, you will already visualize that they make 2 straps there. There you make your high point. Oh, the other in the little house that forms here, oh, on the side of the little flower. So you keep doing this until you reach the end of your career. Oh, and you have to take back all the points. And it gets like this. Look at the little flower along next to the stitches, right? In the middle of your career, high points. So I'm going to do mine here until I reach the end of my career. When I get to the end of my career, I'll come back with you to show you how it turned out and explain the next career, okay? Then we will return to the detail of making the flowers. So that's it. The work is very simple. One career has high points, the other we do half. It's a very low point period. It's very low point, high point, very low point, high point, simple, very simple, and it looks very cute. So I'm going down here my 111 points. As soon as I get to the end, I'll be back with you. Oh, I finished my entire career. Look how beautiful it is getting. Right, so here when I got to the end, I made the high point. I'll make a little chain here and turn all the work around. Now here I'm going to start the drawing of the point. That is the half high point, O. I already start here in the first O. In the first point, that chain was just to gain height. And I do the half high point. In the next one, a high point. So keep going, Appa. That sequence in the next middle, high point. One high point, half a point is a very low point. Sorry, high point, low point. I think I was talking wrong there, right? High point, low point. High point, very low point, leaving it very loose. Low point, high point. So you go all the way to the end of your career in that sequence. So you started off at a very low point. You have to finish your career on a low. So this career is turning out that way, okay? That's the flip side. We only see the straight point there. The detail and the relief is on the right side of the piece, right? So let's weave this way until we finish. I'll weave mine here. In the end, I'll come back to show you one more time. We're going to get back to the highs, do the whole career, right? So I'm going to finish this career here doing the sequence of low point, high point, low point, high point. I finish my whole career, okay? Now I have reached the end. I make 3 chains that are equivalent to a high point. I already made 1, 2 and 3 and get the job done. Look what a wonder it's stinging. And in this career, I only do the high points. So in this first one, I don't do it because I've already made the 3 chains and I'm going after the flower one here. Oh, I'm participating. Oh, I take the 2 straps and make my highlight here. Now, between one and another, in this little space here, oh, white wire, he's good. but he's not showing up right for you, I think. Oh. And here behind the flowers, so you're going to pick up the high points. And the career keeps getting like this. Look how cute. So I'm going to weave exactly like this, alternating between career is 2 and 3, 1 and 2 actually. High and low, until I get to the time I need it. Remembering that here I am without the SCM, counting on compliance with the bar that I will do later. So I want to weave. I think I'm going to weave here about 46 centimeters straight, just like this. You get to the end, you turn around, and you stay straight, up to 46 centimeters. So I'm going to weave it that way, okay? I finally came here, turned my career around, and continued without diminishing, without increasing. I'm going to weave straight until I get to 46 centimeters like this here, right? So I'll come back to you when I finish. When I finish, it's my 46 centimeter. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do. A little hollow there in the collar, but then I'll explain everything, right? When I get there, I'll weave my stitches here. When I arrive, I will come back to explain the next steps. I came back here with you that I was already weaving the front until I arrived. It's the length I needed to start the hollow of the collar, right? So I was weaving here 79 rows or 45 nimbatums. Then I stopped. To do the cover there, I'm going to explain to you how you do the division up there now, right? So coming down normal for 79 rows, the way I explained, coming down straight, until it reaches 45 centimeters. I'm going to bend here in half to make it easier for you to see. I put, I didn't cut the thread, it's here waiting. It has a very large loop so it doesn't break apart. And here, I'll show you how I made this division. I got my job, I got 111 points. I found the middle of it, right? So I found the middle, counted it here, divided it in half, and found the middle. I put the pink marker right in my center point of work here. This is the focal point of my career. I counted, I divided, and here's my middle point. Then, as I had said before, I want a wider collar, more open, with 20 centimeters. So what did I do? After I found the middle, I put this pink marker here. In case, if you do not have marker, you can buy a paper clips, you can buy 11 little piece of lead, another color, or even in the same color that you tie there, you will already know what point is. So I put it on. My measuring tape right at the point of the marker, try to get closer so you can visualize it. I put the tape right on the marker, at the middle point, and I went and marked 10 centimeter and put the marker here when it was 10 centimeter. Then I turn over here, I put the tape right here. At the point of the marker, and I go to the other marker, mark 10 centimeter, gave 10 centimeter. I put another marker, then I get a total of 20 centimeters because then I centered so that the collar is super tight, there is no error. And since we have 111 points, this one point that is left over here, I threw it here into the pit. Do you know why? Because here the two shoulders have to have exactly the same amount of stitches. So I threw it here, so I was left with 20.5 centimeters. Look there, pit, 20.5 centimeters. Because I threw this extra point that was left inside here, and I was left with 32 points on this side and 32 points on this other side. This is very important that you do it, right? Leave it exactly the same. it's here. Oh, for the shoulder, don't get one bigger than the other. So here it's no problem if you play an extra point. Now if I put, for example, leave an extra stitch on this side, it's going to be crooked. The sleeve won't be perfect. It's not the sleeve, the shoulder is, so it won't be perfect anymore. So throw it into the pit and there's no problem, right? So I was left with 8.5 centimeters because of this one point that I threw in here. So I think I understood now. I found the middle. From the middle I scored 10 here and 10 there. This depends on the size you are going to make. If you want to make it smaller, then you divide this size you chose to make by 2. And from the center point you mark here and mark there, and it will work too. And then you count very carefully to get the same amount of points. I got 32 on each side. Now let's continue here to weave the piece. So you can now remove this middle marker because it was just for us to find the middle. So it's no problem, is it? I'm going to adjust the La Sardinia here that I made very large so as not to fall apart while I was finding the middle there. And marking, I made it very large. So I arrived here at the end of my career. I will continue the work. I make my little chain here and turn the piece around. The guy is already very big and continues. Here is doing, oh, very low point and high point. In the same way that you came weaving the entire front of your piece, high point, very low point. So I thought it was interesting to stop. It's in this career of high points, okay? Because I thought it would give a better finish to the collar than this part, but then it's up to you, okay? If you want to stop at that part that doesn't do any more finishing, it will also look cute, but I preferred to stop at the high points. There is the taste of each one. I also think it will make sewing easier afterwards. So I've already left everything on point. I'm going to stop everything on high points. So I'm going to get to the marker and I'll come back with you so the video doesn't get too long, and I'm going to explain how I'm going to do it there. When I get to the marker here, I'm almost at the marker. Oh, one point missing and the point of the marker. So I make my high point here. And the last one here, which is the point where the marker is, I make a very low point. So I started and ended my career normally with a very low point, right? I got here and step 3, little chains and turn the job around. I'm going down to the only right marker. So I turn the work here and text to the other part, oh, back here. In this little space, then my goal is to reach 48 centimeter in length. So I had already woven 79 Schmidt, 79 rows, 45 millimeters. Then I'll go down the rest of the careers. That way, back and forth until I get to the 48 centimeter I need. I think there will be about 4 careers here, so I'm already doing the second. Then I reach the size I need. So I weave like this. Oh, until the end of my career I got here. In the end I turn the work around. I make a chain and turn the work around and I came weaving. I get here then to the marker and come back. Oh, I'm not going to follow the rest of the work, okay? I believe it will give me about 4 careers. I'll weave it this way. I'm on the second. And then I'll come back with you to show you how many careers I've weaved. And it is to pass on to you very clearly the size. But it's like this. You get there, you go back, you go to the marker, back and forth, right? I got to the size I needed here, oh carver, very little. So I weaved 6 rows, so I had 79, now it's 85, oh 79, 80, 81, 82, 84, 85 rows in total. Is that part missing here? So it stayed that way. I made 6 rows, I made 11 necklines, a very small pit, okay? Now I'm going to cut the thread. This one I can cut small. Well, this one I'm going to cut a larger film like this, which is for sewing, or I'm not going to cut this small one anyway. So I'm not going to cut it too big, just to finish it later. So I finished here. I'm going to give that little loop to tie a knot. Whoa, pull here, tighten a little knot here. So this side is finished. Now we're going to start the other side. Remembering that we started on the right side, not on the wrong side, right? So we're going to turn the tables. So whenever you go to start, you see which side you are on, that you stop so that the points are equal. Okay, so I'm here with the right end of the thread that I'm going to do. I'm going to tie it. I'll tie it here. Oh, well, at the point of the marker. Oh, at the point of the marker. That's pretty clear to you, just to see. Then at the marker point, oh, I insert my needle and I'm going to pull the thread. So here you can start the way you're used to, right? You don't have to do that the way I'm doing it. I'll tie the string here. I'll tie a couple of little knots here. Oh, and then I've been bringing this thread here and I'm hiding this end as I get stronger. So I'm going to follow up. Oh, I'm going to show you here. So we started, the wire was waiting here. I remember right here at the beginning. Oh, so I started here at the beginning and went back and forth from here to the marker. So, oh, as if I didn't come back here, oh, from the marker to here, I'd go straight, oh, so far, oops, to the end, and I'll be back. So here I have to continue, or as if I had continued. So that's why Amaro saw it here, not here at the end. So you have to continue your career so that the points are even, right? I'm going to fold over here so we can get started. I'm going to zoom in now so you can visualize it well. So I'm here at the marker point. I insert the needle. This is this thread here. It's from the end that I tie. I'm going to bring it to the side to tie it. So I wash the thread here. Oh, let me just pull the thread here. Make a chain to tie it. And then at that same point, oops, I already make a very low point. I insert the needle again, pull the thread and make a very low point. So what? The next a high point, the next a very low point. And I'm bringing all the fibers of the film, oh, and I'm bringing this little tip that I tied here so I can finish it off. So you go on like this, oh, so I made the lowest point here. Next point to lowest point. High point, then you will descend in the same way, following the logic of the point until you reach the end of the career. Arrived here at the end, make the 3 chains, turn the work and weave until you reach the marker. And so you go back and forth until you do the 6 careers like I did here, right? So I'm not going to record video here, it's doing it. Because then I already explained. Everything I did on one side I do on the other. Then I'll weave, get to the end. From the end I go back to the point of the marker. I go back and forth until I make the 6 careers I did on the other side. Then when I get to the end, I'm going to cut a larger thread so I can make the seam there on the shoulder, right? But then when I get to the end, I'll come back with you again. I came down here. My 6 careers, and I'll cut the wire. But now that I'm done here, I didn't think about it at the time, so I would have to leave that side. It is to cut a very long thread to sew, and here leave the short thread. But since I've already done it, I've already cut it, no problem. If you have already done this, no problem either. I'm going to cut a thread short too, because I'm not going to start sewing from here to there, right? So I'm going to tie up E pro. It's all right here. I made a little knot here, so the front part is finished. Okay, the thread is finished. I'll show you here. Oops, sorry. I hit the camera, so here, the finished front part. Look at the pit. How did it look and left me from the ball? Oh, of the 100G ball, that's all that's left here, right? There's very little left. So I made a ball in the front. Now we will start the back part. I will pass it on to you again. Here it was left with a total of 85 rows and 48 centimeters. Oh, this one. The front is ready here. So now what you need to do is do the back part. You're going to start the same way you started. The same amount It's of stitches that you put on the front and you put on the back. So I did here, this here is already my back part. I'll show you. And I've already finished. I've come forward here. I've already done the back part. Here, I made my 1/10 on 111 as I did before. I went straight down and made 85 straight careers. I didn't do it here on my back. I didn't leave any hollow, okay? I got to 85 rows, 48 centimeters. I didn't cut the wire. I'll cut it here with you. So since I left the thread in front is short, this one I'm going to make bigger to sew one shoulder. Then I'll just need to tie a new thread there. I'll leave a thread more or less like this. I think it will do. So I left here, a piece here about a foot or so. So I got to the end here, from that loop and cut the thread. So from the back part, my ball was left a little less. I'll show you what's left of the ball on the back. Let me think here that I've already packed everything. I'll show you. So that's how the back was. It retained 48 centimeters. It's 85 careers, right? So you're going to do it this way. There is, much less on the back. Oops. There was only this left here from the back. There was less left because I woven straight there. I didn't make the hole. So the front part was left a little bit more because I made the hole, right? So here, what I have left, front, back. So it's a blouse that wears little wire this point because it was one for the front and one for the back. So I'm already here with my 2 pieces knitted. I'll show you. Then you do the same thing. Your overlaps over here, one on top of the other, got exactly the same size. And here, with the difference from the cave here, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see, it stayed here. Only with the kava, which then we, after sewing, must make a finish here on this collar. So now that we have the front and the back already done, let's start making the sleeve, shall we? So the sleeve is, I'm going to make it. I already have one ready. I'm going to show you. So I already knitted a sleeve because then I made it, tried it on, wore it, testing to see if it worked, the size, everything right, the width, and then I can explain it to you properly. So the sleeve, look, I made it open and folded it in the middle. Oh, it stayed like this. And then up here we're going to sew it on the blouse. Then I'm going to teach you properly. I'm going to zoom in to show you the details of the sleeve, how I did it. If you go this bar here, oh, it's a very different bar. She is myth. Crochet is knitting, sorry. Oh, I'll put it closer. So it's very similar to knitting. Look at it. And I'm going to teach you how to make the sleeve now, right? So let's go step by step from the mango. So I lowered it open and I made it retina, no decrease and no increase. So the amount of stitches that I put in here after I made the bar, I kept weaving until I reached the size. So if you don't want to make a wide sleeve like this, then you need it. You need to go either decrease or increase, then you go. See which one is the best. So I liked this looser model. I made the sleeve. It's straight, wide from top to bottom. So here we'll start with the right cuff. Look, to weave one sleeve I used half a skein, so I believe that this much here will be enough to weave the other sleeve. So yeah, I believe I'm gonna use 3 balls. It's not enough. I don't think it's going to take 3.5 soap operas here to weave this blouse, because this yarn is long, so it has to be in grams. But it doesn't have the amount of meters, but it has a lot. So a skein, I made the front, a skein, the back, and half a skein, a sleeve. So now this remainder here, I'm going to weave the other sleeve. So to start, you will need a string of chains. You will start with, let me straighten up here my camera. You're going to start with the height, the height here of yours, of your bar. So you're going to do the little slippery knuckle. And for me, who needed 7 centimeter, I made here a cord with 15 chains. Depending on the material you are using, then you make the chains and see if there is the height you need. In my case, here, the 7 centimeters here, 15 stitches, right? I'm going to make my 15 chains here, and I'll be back with you to show you. It's like we're going to make this beautiful bar here, very different. I made my 15 chains here, which equals my 6 centimeters. Now I'm going to do the last one, and I'm going to do 2 more. Actually, I need to hold the last one. I do 2 more to gain height, right? Let me see if I can get closer so you can visualize it here. I think it will get better. So here I made my chain cord and made 2 more. Now I did 15 little runs to gain height and did 2 more. To gain height, I go on the 4th chain 01 from the needle 0.1234. On Wednesday, I go in with a needle and do half a high stitch. Pull the loop and take them all off at once. And I go like this. On every base point, I do half a high point. All the chains here until the end of my career, I will make half a high point. I'll take it all at once. So I'm going to do my half high points until I reach the end of my career, and I'll come back with you to show you what the next career is going to be. It gets like this, right? I'll take the rest down and I'll be right back with you. So I got here at the end of my career, with my 15 half stitches, high weaves, and I'm going to make a little chain and I'm going to turn the job around. In this case, Here you make a chain. Oh, leave a larger release and a looser chain. Oh, you will understand why I leave it very loose. That's where the work will turn. And now here you will catch, not at the first point, but in this space that was formed here. Oh, in this little space here. Oh, not in the first point here, but here. Oh, in this space between the chain and the first point, you enter with the needle. Oh, I have the loop here. Oh, enter here. Pull. Then I go to the next point, enter and pull. I have 3 loops and pull. I take them all at once. I leave them very loose, and I'm going to do it again with these 2 loops. Here I'm going to enter, not the next point. I'm going to enter the same here. Oh, that I was already weaving, only needle, pull, thread. I go in the next, I enter with needle, pull the thread. I got 3 loops, and now I go through these other 2. So you do it like this, oh, until you reach the end of your career. I didn't get all the fibers here from the thread here. Now it worked. So you're going to do this in the next one. Oh, enter here where you had already woven. Enter only with needle, pull the thread, go to the next stitch, enter with needle, pull the thread, and take off the 2 like this way. Go here in the same, pull a loop, go to the next stitch, pull a loop, and take off everything at once, right? The career will become like this. Oh, I don't know if you can visualize it well, but it will give that effect of 2 chains. So I enter the same point again. I enter the next 3 loops, and with this strap here, I take off the other 2, and I'm going like this until the end of my career. I enter here and pull. I enter the next course, and now, yes, I take everything off. I enter this one that I was already woven in the next shot, the 3 daring ones. So I remember this one of making it very loose, which will make it a lot easier for you. Oh, I'm almost at the end of my career. Oh, here. So you always make sure that you are doing the 15 stitches, because it's very easy to get lost there and do it here. Oh, the same time I was coming down, and the next time I made the chains, I take everything off at once. It was like this way. So coming back here on that last point, oh, I'm going to break it down again. And here, oh, when there is left here, here, right? This is the here. Wait a minute, this is the same. This here is the last point. And here in the last, which is the chains. I'm going to make a low point so it's really straight, okay? The last I do not do as I did in the others. Now to continue, now I'm going to make 2 chains, and I'm going to turn the work around and see that she has already graduated here. Oh, those 2 careers of chains. So these two chains that I made, let me take more thread here. It already corresponds to the half high point. So from this first point here, oh, I'm not going to do it because it's already the chains. I'm going to the next one, but I'm only going to take the back strap, right? And I do the half high point. Oh, oops, I hit the camera. I turn around here, oh, and I only take the back strap. There is little, and I step half a point high. La Sardinia, I'm going to the next point, oh, half high point, just taking the back strap. I know this thread is like that. It's not white. I'm thinking it's not giving it to you. Visualize well, then the work just looks and will stay here. The detail of the 2 chains in the middle of the half high points, only the back strap. And you go down in this shape and you go counting if you have the same amount of points here. Oh, because it's very easy to get lost and it gets very cute. Look, our little format is already here. Ours, it's from our fist. I'm almost at the end, so I'm going to start with you the next one, which is the most complicated, I think. I did my 15 high points here. In the last one, I'm going to take the 2 dishes. I'm not just going to take them from behind so that it's really straight, okay? So I take the 2, not just the back. I arrived here, I make a very wide chain. Remember to leave AA already loose and loose chain. I turn the work around and I go to this ball that forms here. After the DA, the needle, and before the first point, I teach the needle in this space. Just the needle and pull the thread. I have 2 lozadinhas now. Now I'm going to enter the first point. Oh. I pull the thread and I have 3 loops. And with this last loop, I will take off the first 2. Oh, so I go to this first point. I still only enter with the needle. I pull the thread. I go to the next one. I enter with the needle. I pull the thread. Then I take the 2 loops here with it. I enter the point that has already been pulled the thread. I enter the next one. Oh, I have 3. I take the 2 at once. I enter here in the same space. And in the next point, I have 3 straps. I take them off with this alasada. I take these 2O. I enter this one that is already woven. I enter here in the next one. Oh, I have 3 and take them off here. I enter this same one that is already woven in the next one. I have 3 straps. I take them off here, and so I go, oh, until I reach the end of my career in the last one. I make a low point. I'll make it to the end of my career and I'll be right back with you. I reach the end of my career last. Me, I made a low point. I make 2 chains that will be equivalent to half a high point. And look at the detail of point O working that way. I get 2. Points. Oh, and on this side I'm going to do the half high points. So the first one, I don't do it because it already equals these 2 chains, so I'll skip this one and go to the next one. I only take the back strap and do half high, always taking the back strap. So this time is the time for you to count to see if you finished your career there with the same number of points you started. Sometimes it's good to count because sometimes it's pretty easy to get lost. Put more or less dots there, right? So now you will weave in the way I taught you until you reach, it's the size of your circumference, it's yours, your arm, it's your wrist. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to finish this career here. And I'll show you how many careers I've had. Just doing the last one and not taking the last. It's just the little one in the back. I take the 2 loops from the point, so no hole. I take 2 loops and make my middle punctual. Didn't loop, do it in the middle high point. Then I make a chain, turn the work around and weave. So until you reach the circumference here, I'm going to show you. I did 31 careers total, okay? To return it, pass to you the amount in centimeters here that I woven from the cuff. that it was a bit arched now after I put it on, but it was arched like this. Oh, 90 centimeters, but if I turn it here, look, still pretty straight. The width I need here for my fist, I'll leave it here for you to see, is 20 centimeters more or less of a fist. Almost 20 centimeters. I went down, what was it? I did it and put it here on my arm. EE circling here. So you gave me 31 careers, okay? So how do we find careers here? Oh, like that. First, half high points, one of these two chains here. Oh, these are only one career. So 12, 3, 4, 5. I have already tested 5 careers here. Oh, 12, 34, and 5, right? So I weave 31, so I'll weave here the rest of mine. It's in this remaining to get to 31. Then I'll come back with you to show you how I put the dots here to continue. Loving, right? So like that, that's how I get to the size. I come back with you and I came back here, oh, with my fist and fabric. Look how it turned out. I made 31 careers, oh, counting here, oh, 1, 2. That 2 chains counts only 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And counting like this, it gave 31 rows. 31 gave the size of my circumference. So I'm going to measure here to give you an idea, sort of. The size that was left was about 18 centimeters. Here it is because he got a very elastic fist. Oh, it's stretchy too, it's beautiful. But if you want to do that traditional crochet one, you can do it, no problem, right? It'll do, it'll be good too. I wanted to make a different model. So here, the chains were in this position. Oh, in this way. I don't know if you're able to visualize it properly. So I finished here, I didn't cut the wire. Oh, he's here waiting. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now, instead of me continuing to weave my work here. Oh, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go down now. Up here, I'm going to put the high points for me to do is the limp, so I'm going to do it. 3 chains, that equals 1 high point. 3 chains, oh, I arrived at the end, I made 3 chains, and here I'm going to put it very close for you to see. Oh, so I made the 3 chains here when I arrived at the end. Instead of me turning around and weaving here where I was coming from, I'm going to come down here, up now. Oh, I'm going to come here. Oh, no greetings here, no more here, okay? And I'll put the high points. So here, oh, at this point where we made the career of half high points, here, oh, that simulates the inside out. Oh, that simulates the inside out part of the work. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put 3 high points. So these 3 chains are already worth 1 point. So I'm going to put high here, oh, 1, and I'm going to put 1 more here. Oh, 3 high points in this part here. Oh, there are these 2 little races. I'm going to put high, 1 in each little lane here. Okay, 1 here, oh, and another here. Well, I put it inside the corner of the point. Oh, that way it gets colder here. Now in this part here of the half high points, I make 3 high points. So I take it, wrap this point here, oh, on the corner side, and put my 3 high points, oh, 12 and 3, and now in this one I put it inside. Inside the neighbor here of the chain 1 and 2, oh, they are, oh, and it gets like this in this part of 3, oh, I take this point from the edge here, oh, and make the 3 high points, oh, 1, 2, and 3. When it is 2 chains, it is, oh, inside the V, I insert 1 point, and inside the other, I insert the other. So you do it like this, oh. That way, until I get to the end of my career, I'm going to do mine here. And when I get here, in the end, I'll come back so we can continue. Look, I came here putting the high points. Oh, and here at the end, oh, it was my first career. Half high points here. Only here I'm going to put high, because in all these half point high careers I put 3. Here I'm going to put 2, because this point he has that he is made in even numbers, but he has to have 1 more at the end, that is 4. To start and end with mayo.com, the very low point. Sorry. So both here at work I started with 1 to 10. Then I made those 2 chains to go up, which here was worth another point. So I got 111 points. So here I have to have an odd number too. So I have 77 points here, 77 high points. It's to start my sleeve, and these 77 high stitches will be enough for me to always knit straight until I reach the height I need for my blouse, right? So from here, oh, I'm going to continue the point. Oh, I make a little chain, I turn my work around. And I start with the detail of the stitch. I'm weaving straight as I wove an AA. The only difference was making that little bar there, okay? Now here, very low point, high point, very low point, high point, straight test, without any decrease, until you reach the necessary size of your sleeve. It's just in case you think it got too tight, you can go putting more stitches along the way, or you can go down if you think it got too tight, right? Remembering that as this point is done in pairs, every decrease or increase will have to be done 2 at once to be able to work. So now, oh, it worked really well too. Oh, that here was the inside of the piece. Oh, the inside of the cuff and the inside of the blouse. Oh, of the stitch, if I see here. Oh, here was the drawing of the stitch. And the right of the wrist worked really well. So then you do it this way. Continue with mine. It gave 77 points. Then you see, maybe if you thought it was too wide, you can put, instead of 3 here as I put, or distribute it in the way you think it will work for your mango. Because I think mango is a matter of taste and me and divided too, right? So do it. It's according to what you are. With your preference, wider, this one will be straight. Much wider, the model I chose. I'll weave my straight without any decrease until I reach the size. I'll pass it on to you here. How much I weave this other sleeve here. Oh, I started. 77 high stitches. Even let me just find my notes because I write everything down. You should write too, because everything you do on one sleeve you have to do on the other. I have written down, the sleeve went down 81 careers total. From that point, little flower, okay, and gave a total. It's 81 rows and a total of 51 centimeters, with AA counting on the right fist. Then I'm going to show you here how she got well retained. She just makes a little mark there at the end. But here she frowns because her fist is smaller, right? And here we put more points. Oh, and I went straight down, right? Here she gives this rounded one because here it is smaller, but it is straight. So I started here, I have 77 points, and I finished here, I have 77 points too. Then we sew it on the blouse and it will stay straight, okay? So I'm going to go down mine here, until I reaches the 81 careers and 51 centimeters. Then I'll come back with you so we can sew the piece, assemble the front, back and sleeves, and then do the finishing. We need to make this handle here so we can sew it on the blouse we made without a handle. So now I'm going to make a fist like this later and sew it there, right? But we do it step by step, right? So I'm making my sleeve. Making the detail just right. Doing here, as I have been weaving the whole blouse now, straight, without increase, without decrease, until I come to 81 rows or 51 centimeters. Then I'll come back with you so we can continue. There to sew the blouse. I came back here with you because I have my 2 sleeves woven. Okay, I went down 81 rows until I got to the size I needed. So I'm going to give you here the measurement of her length. From the cuff to the top, it gave 52 centimeters of sleeve. Okay? And then I went down 81 career and 52 centimeters. It's open here, I'll show you. Here I really frowned because I started tighter. I didn't increase the points. As I explained to you, I put my 77 points here and went straight up, okay? So it was like this. It's the sleeve. I'm going to give you the width measurement up here. It's straighter. It's easier to measure. So she got 30 and almost 33 centimeters. 33 centimeter wide, right? My sleeve is left here. So now I'm going to take it and go. All we have to do is put the piece together, right? I'm here with front and back for us to ride. So I have front, back, and sleeves. It's for riding. We'll start sewing. This here is the front because it has the neckline, and this here is the back that I went down backwards. I'm going to leave. This here is the right side. And here is the wrong side. The reverse side is the smooth side. I'm going to leave the inside out of my play. So I'm going to leave the right to the right like this, turned, because then it got upside down and upside down, right? So when we turn, will the 2 sides be right together? So let's start sewing at the shoulder, shall we? Here I tied a thread because I had cut it short. Here the tip of the thread that I had cut when I finished here. But then I inserted a thread that I tied. So the tip of the thread that I tied and the long thread stopped to make the seam. Yeah, so here, I left 32 points, if I'm not mistaken, 33. I'm going to count it very accurately. And I'm going to count the same amount of stitches that I have here. And I'm going to put the marker, which is so that I can sew it well, very accurately, with a stitch here. So it doesn't get crooked, right? So I'm going to count, I'm going to put the marker, and then I'm going to come back with you too. So we can start sewing the shoulder. So here it is. I have 33 points here. I counted it from here to here. It gave me my 33 stitches. I put this marker because this is where I have to stop sewing. So with my thread tied here, I'm going to sew with the same needle that I came weaving the piece with. I'm not going to use a tapicero needle here for sewing. So I'm going to align it pretty neatly with a point. Am I going to put it closer so you can see it here? So I insert my needle very precisely at the first point, and there, at the first point. So these threads here later, as an upholstery needle, I'm going to go through the threads, do the finishing, Then I pull the thread here I've already learned. So I go to the next point, oh, and to the next point here, oh, then, and with the point well aligned, okay, I take the thread, oh, and I'm going to make this one stitch, oh. You have to be careful not to get confused. Here I pull the thread, and I'm going to sew with very low stitches, oh, I go inside, and I already go inside here, this little loop I made. First I'm going to the next one, oh, I pass the needle. And the next one here, oh, I go in at the top of the point. Oh, I take the two, it's kind of blurred. Oh, I take the two, pull the wire and go inside. Very low point. I go to the next needle in zero there on the other side. I see what the next needle in zero is. I pull the thread, I make the very low point. So the seam is going like this. Oh, well, very cute. And the other side is going to look good. So you do it like this. Oh, insert the needle here in the next stitch. Then you go there in the other row. See the next stitch? Oh, so it has to be very straight.com.c. Don't get crooked. Oh, and make the point very low. I'm going to the next one and the next one here. Oh, at the top of the point. I pull the wire and make a very low point. Insert here on the next one, there on the other side of the stitch. The two loops pull the thread. I step inside, so it's a very simple sewing, even beginner of the account. And for those who don't like sewing with a needle, there are people who don't get along well with sewing, don't really like it. So I know people who stop making pieces like this because they have to sew. So they end up making just carpets, something that doesn't need sewing. So this sewing is very easy, I think. Very easy to do. Oh, so I'm going to put it on really tight, and I'm going to go with a very low point, and it's going to look really beautiful. The seam, look at it, and here the right side, look how it looks. It has a very beautiful finish. So what? Then these little tips here that I tied the thread and that I finished lowering the piece, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it on the upholstery needle, and on the inside I'm going to hide the little tip. So I'm going to do this way, right this seam until I get there at the marker. At the point where I put the marker, which is where I need to stop, I'm going to do mine here, and I'll be back with you to show you how it turned out and how we're going to finish there. It's when I get to the marker. Oh, I got here at the last point. Oh, well, from the marker, I sewed with a very low point, and now I'm going to give that little loop to tie a knot and finish. Oh, so here it is ready. So right. Now I put this one on an upholstery needle, and I'm going through this tip, right? So here I put the wire. I'm just going to turn it around to position it better here for you. So I put the thread on the needle, and I'm going to go through the seams just like I did here. Oh, come here, come here. Here I had to splice the thread because I cut it too short. It was missing, so I amended it here. I'll have to do the same thing with all the wires, okay? Then you go through, oh, and when you think you've gone through enough, you can cut off the tip. I'll do that later. Let the thread slip and I'll put it on and pass it on. Then all these threads that I have left here, I'm going to do the same. Put them on the needle and go through here, oh, inside the stitches and hide them. I'm going to do the same thing with the seam on this side here. Oh, now I'll take the other shoulder. Let me see here for you. Oh, so I'm here with the other shoulder. I'm going to take this marker here from my collar because it's no longer necessary, and I'm going to use it here to count my 33 points. Here I put the marker, and here I already left a longer thread. When I finished the piece, I didn't need to tie it, and I'm going to do the same seam with the very low stitch, taking the top of the stitch on this side and that until I get to the right marker. Do the same thing I did on the other side. So I'll sew it here and then I'll come back to you when I'm ready. Then I show you the finished seam. Here we go. To start the next step of our assembly here of the blouse, which is to put the sleeves, I sewed the other side. I got to the marker and here I made one. I made that is the final loop, and gave a loop with the end thread that I had finished weaving. So now I can take off my markers because it's already joined here. So that's the seam, right? And here on the right side, now we're going to sew the sleeves. I'll position my piece this way. So now I'm going to open my pieces right up, and I'm going to leave it open like this. What am I going to do now? So I'm going to show you here. Oh, it's positioned like this. The blouse stretched right up. Oh, like this. Oh, I'm going to take the sleeve. I'm going to take the sleeve to show you that we are going to make the union. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I have my sleeve here. Oh, double. Right in the middle with a point here. Oh, and I'll find the center point. So I put it right here. And this here is my central point. I'll tell you. I'll see if it's the one right here. So I found the middle of my work right here. So I left 38 stitches here, 38 stitches here, and one here in the middle. Okay, so I found the middle of my sleeve. So I'm going to show you how we're going to position it now after we found the middle. I'm right here, facing up. So what am I going to do now with my sleeve? I'm going to turn it around at once, and I'm going this way. On top I'm going to increase it here so that you can visualize it well and there's no doubt. So I rolled up my sleeve here, right on top. Here, right at the piece up the sleeve, with the right to go back from O. Right, with right, and reverse right here. So I'm going to position this marker, this middle point, right at the shoulder seam, right, to stay straight. So I put here, my marker, right at the shoulder seam. I'm going to zoom in now to show you. So then I put it here, the marker, and I'm going with this marker. I'm going to attach the seam part here, where I made the seam, the union. So right here, it's the middle of my piece. So it's going to fit nicely with the sleeve. That's why we have to do this. Because then there was the same amount for the back, the same amount here for the front. And what I do afterwards is put it on. Some markers, like here on the wide button, I'm going to put one here in the middle and another here on the tip to hold. I don't know if you can see it. So I put another marker on here, just so it doesn't slide around and keep coming out. So I learned from the marker here, you can put a paper clip, you can put a little thread of another color, just to learn. If you don't have a marker, just to learn and stay well retained your piece, then I'm going to put here some markers so they don't slide and don't move out of place. I'm going to put here at the tip also the union, the seam. I'll do it too, the same way I did it's the shoulder there, so here I put the markers, so from the right middle center point, I attached it here at the seam. I'm going to arrange it just here at the shoulder seam, right? I'm going to take the top of the center point, and here is I'm going to tie a film, so I'm going to turn it now like this. Oh, to make the sewing easier. So when you finish sewing, doing it this way, you open it here, it's going to be straight, right? It's going to be very straight. So I always do this to sew your sleeves. I'm going to turn the piece this way to make it easier for my sewing. Now I'm going to start here and go up the marker here. So how are we going to make this thread here that I cut and made short? So I'm going to tie up another bigger one. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this. I put it here. Oh, on the first point here on the sleeve, let's get closer now. Oh, on the first point on the sleeve, I'm going to take this marker off here. On the first stitch of the sleeve, I'm going to take the filo here. Oh, I'm going to pull. I went through the stitch and I'm going to give it a little knot. I'm going to leave a larger tip, that is, so I can do a little finishing, put it on the upholstery needle and hide it. So I make a couple of little knots here, and I can also tie them with this thread here that I left. I left it long, but not long enough to get there on the other side. I can tie him up too. So after I tie it here, oh, I'm going to insert my needle. Oh, at this particular juncture, I find myself inclined to align with the blouse's side, given how it provided somewhat in this area, oh yes, and I'm proceeding to insert it here, oh my, observe how the stitches have taken their place. Consequently, I'm moving forward to insert it at the anticipated point. Oh, did you notice my initial attempt there? Indeed, I accomplished it here, and now I'll create a chain to ensure proper learning. Oops, I didn't quite manage the thread correctly. Here I go once more. Get these little tips now. At first they get in the way a little here and I go there. And where I think it has to be here, insert the needle thread, Oh, I'll find the end of the long thread that comes from the ball that I'm sewing. I'm going to pull this one to the side, and then I'm going to finish it, pull the thread, make a loop just to fasten it. Now I go to the next point on the sleeve and on the side, where I think I can put it on. And I insert my needle here, I pull the thread and I make the very low stitch at the top of the stitch here on the sleeve, and here, oh, inside the stitch, oh, the little stitch on the side, I step very low stitch, oh, inside the stitch here and here, oh, where I think it will work, here, oh, I insert the needle, I pull the thread, I go inside with a very low stitch, I go to the next stitch on the side, here, oh, if you want to embrace the whole point, you can. If you want to insert it within the point, you can. I'm passing through the point, oh, inside the point strap. So you go like this, oh, until you get there on the other side. Sew the whole side of your sleeve, oh, very low point. I caught the wrong thread. I'm going to break it up because I caught the thread at the end. I didn't catch the thread that was coming from the ball, these little ends here. Look, come on, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to break it up so the video won't be long. I sewed it again. I put these two ends over here so they don't get in my way again, okay? So I'm going to insert it here. I'm going to the other side where I think I can put it. I insert the needle, pull the thread, make the very low stitch. I go to the next one here on the side, very low stitch. Next, I'm going here on this side. Low stitch, then this seam with low stitch. If not, it becomes much easier and faster. Okay, but if you want, you can sew with an upholstery needle, like you're used to. No problem. That sewing there is a personal choice. Everyone chooses their own. Oh, the sleeve is being joined here. Our piece is taken at the top of the stitch and on the side here of the stitch. Okay, I'm not involving the whole point, so I get into one of the chains here at the point and it's working. So I'm going to finalize my posture here from the sleeve until I get there at the other end. Then I'll come back with you to show you how the result turned out. And let's start the next one together. Let's organize it again, okay? So the stitching is like this. So I'm going to show you a little more here, because then the other side I'm not going to record video because it's exactly the same, right? Oh, I take the entire top of the point. I don't go on the side here the entire top of the point. Period. But it's pretty simple. Look, I'm already halfway through the piece, so that the video doesn't get too long, I'm going to pause and finish, right? I'm going to finish this sewing. I'm getting really cute. And then I'll come back with you to show you the result and start the next one together. I got to the end of the seam. I went down the entire side of the sleeve sewing. I'm going to cut the thread and make that little loop. Oh, here gives a little knot. And then I pass with a tapestry needle between the seam. So the seam was like this, and the piece was on the right side with the seam that is the sleeve, like this. Now we're going to do the union of the next one, so we're going to find the middle of the other sleeve here. I'm already tearing everything down. I'm going to go this side of this piece. So I'm here with my other sleeve and I'm going to find the middle and put the marker on. So I'm going to count the points here and get back to you when I find the middle. I think I kind of put the marker here right in the center point. Now let's put the piece together again. I'm going to pause and organize. Here I've positioned it again, all right up, and look how the other sleeve is here. Oh, so when we fold it here, oh, it will be very tight in the middle. Let's do the same thing on the other side now, so straight up, and I'm going to take the sleeve now. So I put my sleeve inside out here, right? So that I can stand right here, right? I'm going to take the center point and put it right in the shoulder seam, okay? So I'll learn here. So here, O, top of the center stitch and the shoulder seam. So this here is our north. So as not to get crooked, the sleeve, I put it there. The middle is stuck, so I just organize it and put some markers so it doesn't slide. But if you want, you don't need it, there's yours. It's the way you're used to doing it that you prefer. I like to put it so it doesn't slip and it doesn't end up being crooked. So put one here at the end. You can pin it too, okay? It's just that I don't have my pins here. Oh, organize them here. I'll put one here in the middle. Then when I get here, I take it off and do it again and put one here. So here, my second manga is organized. Okay, and just sew it the way I was showing you. So after I do that, I turn over here to make my job easier. Oh, come here, I'll tie the wire here. As I showed you, I tie the thread here and sew with very low stitches until I get here at the end. Getting to the end, I finish. And then I take a pillow needle and hide all the threads. I'm going to make my seam here on the sleeve, right? So the video doesn't get too long. I'll sew it and then I'll just show you the result and then we'll give it. It is continuity here, the assembly of the blouse. I arrived here at the end, so I'm going to cut the thread. I made the last stitch, cut the thread here, I give that last loop to close, give a little loop, and then upholstery needle, I finish. So I'll show you what the side seam looks like, okay? And now I'm going to position the piece for you to see. Look how beautiful it is, that it is well positioned here on the right side, but the side and sleeve are open. Then I'm going to turn it upside down again. I just wanted to show you how it turned out. I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to turn it around and I'll be right back. So I'm with my inside out so I can do the side seam and the sleeve. So what am I going to do? First thing, I like to join here. Under the arm, right in this loop, I like to attach with a marker so that it doesn't slip and the seam doesn't get crooked. So I put the marker right here on the seam and right here on the seam to join the underarm. So you don't stay here anymore, you know? So first thing, I organize it there and I organize it here. Tip to tip. I adjust it very neatly here. Tip to tip. Attach here also tip to tip so as not to slide. And I organize it here. To stay everything the same. Retina piece. I'm going to put another one here in the middle. Now here on the sleeve, after I fasten it here, I arrange it very neatly. And fasten the tip. Here on the wrist, I fasten the tip here, so there's no danger of it slipping. So always a rest, that's because. Sometimes it can happen that you think that it is going right straight when you see there is left here at the end a piece that happens. Here I organize fist very right. Also put a marker or a clips or a pin, any little thing there to learn and not come to slide as you are handling there to make the seam. And here it was very straight. So then I also put a marker in the middle here. I'll do the sewing. When I get to the marker, I take it off, continue. The seam will be done. So everything is already organized to sew. So I aligned the cuffs. I aligned here, the end of the cuff under the arm and the tip under here. So this is essential. These parts here are well aligned so that the blouse stays well straight. Then you can start from the cuff and come sewing from the cuff. Comes here under the arm, goes down to the end of the piece. You choose if you want to start from here. You can also come until you get here at the cuff, whatever, right? I enjoy it. I particularly always start here. Down. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to tie the wire and I'm going to do the posture the same way I did. It is the others with a very low point. So I join the two ends here. Tie the river. So this thread here is the thread that's coming from the ball, right? I'm not going to cut any pieces because we don't know how much wire we're going to use. So here, the little tip, I insert my needle. And I pass the wire, I tie to learn well. Then here you can put the wire the way you are used to, no problem. And then we hide everything. All these threads that are left there, we will take upholstery needles and hide them. So I tied the wire. I'm going to get close, right at the little end, these two ends here. Then we finish. So I put my wire there on the tip and I go here on the tip too. I insert the needle thread, I pull the thread, I give a little loop here, a little chain to learn, and I go to the next one. Here you will gather where you think you can pass a needle. Not too close, not too far. Oh. Pass the thread between the middle and the stitches and make a very low stitch too. You can go between the dots like I'm doing here. Or you can embrace the whole dot too. Give O between the stitches, then O past the thread, very low point, O. So you go by there, not too close, not too far. In the middle of the point or hug, there's the point. And you also have to take care to stay aligned, because we have a career that makes that ball and a high-end career. So it has to be aligned there too, okay? High point career with high point career. If the bell rings here, I take it there between the points. I make a very low point, and that's how I go. I'll sew until I get to the wrist, okay? I follow straight, and the seam is getting so cute. Then I'm going to weave here so the video doesn't get too long. I'm going to weave everything until I reach the wrist, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to attach the ends under the arm and the wrist so it doesn't slide, so it's well aligned. And I'm going to continue with the seam with a very low stitch, okay? So when I finish all the sewing, I'll come back with you to show you the finished piece, and then I'll teach you how to do it here. Yes, but we still need to make the bar. The blouse bar is still there, so I'm going to finish the sewing. When I'm done, I'll come back with you to teach you how to make the bar. I finished the seam on the side and the sleeve here, doing with the low stitch, and I thought it was good to do it like this, because if you make a mistake, you just pull like this, it falls apart, it's a beauty, it doesn't take so much work, so it was good, because here on the sleeve, I started double delay sewing, and I saw that it was kind of crooked, then it was wrinkled. I had to break up a piece like that here. In the end, it wasn't hitting, so I just pulled it like this, and it came apart very practical. Yeah, so I won't come, it's the other way around, because now we're going this way, right? Yeah, so I'm going to show you the bar. We're going to do the same thing with the fist. It's imitating the trick. So like this one, I thought it wasn't so visible. It couldn't be seen. Well, it's with this white thread. I'm going to take here another thread, a show, and I'm going to teach you. Then after the blouse ready, sewn. Yeah, we'll do the fist, okay? So I'm making mine here. It's the string of chains that will give the height. I'm going to make it from the same distance as the size of the wrist. So I needed 15 chains to give the size I needed, as I'm doing it with another thicker thread, a thicker wool, a sample. So I'm not going to make the 15 chains I made there, okay? So I'm going to do about 8 here, okay? Which will equal the height there, just to show you guys so they're more visible, right? Because I thought that with white it was not so visible. So here I have already made 123 chains, 45, 67, and 8. So these right here, this one right here equals the height, right? 88 chains. I'm going to do 2 more to go up to gain height. So I have here a total of 10 chains, and I'm going to enter the 4th chain, 1234 from the needle, and I make the half high point as if I were going to make a high point, only I take it all off at once. Next time I'll stick the needle in, take it all out at once. So I'm going to make my points here. Half high points. On each base chain I make a half high point. I'm almost finished. So there, if you want to do that traditional high points with. It's 2 by 2 and 2. You know, it's also 1 forward, 1 backward. 2 forward and 2 backward also works. But if you want to do this, okay. I got my 8 stitches a little high here. I'm going to make a little chain here. I'm going to leave it very loose. That's the secret. Let this little chain loose. That's what you're going to do. It's going to go in here. In this space. That's why I said to make it loose. In this space you go in with the needle. Pull the thread. You have 2 loops. Then you go to the first point, enter the kagulha, and you have 3 loops. This very loop. You're going to take the others off, you little tight. But I'll do it again because I couldn't get it off. I come here to the first point. Take it all off at once. I got that. Now you will enter right here. In the first point where you had already placed the needle, it was once, you have 2 loops. Go to the next point, make the loop, and when you have 3, you pass this 3rd loop, inside the others, and take it out here, go inside this space, and here you have 3 loops. Take it all off at once. Just go inside this one again. From this one that I've already done, and from this one I have 3 loops, I take it all off at once. I go inside this one, and inside this one I have 3 loops. I take it all off here, and here, I take it all off here. And here you take them all, and in the last one you do 1 low point only, right? Take the two leashes here. These 2 leashes. I think my ass is too thick here for me to squeeze. Okay, I managed to get in there and make a low point. So only in the last one do you make a low point. Now you will make 2 chains and it will turn the work around. And look at the one with those 2 chains. You're going to do this one and it already counts as a middle point, high point. So you won't do it in the first point, which would be this one. You'll do it in the next one, just taking the back strap. And make a half high point on the back strap, half high point, And in this career, it's good for you to count if you have the 8 points here, because it's very easy for you to do more or less. So you go on counting, I have 12, 34, 5, 67. Hey, and the last one, you're not going to take by the back strap, okay? You're going to take the 2 straps, and you're going to do the half high point. That's so you don't stay in that open space. Your work will be very beautiful. I did 1.1 half high point. Do back that, now it was right. Grandpa. I did the half high point, and look how beautiful the work turned out. Very simple to do, right? So I got here, I take a few steps, I leave the spacer, I make a chain spacer, I turn the work around, right? And I enter here, in this space that was formed, in this chain that I made, I enter here, I pull the loop,
I have 2 putting the first stitch. Then I enter with the needle. I have 3 loops.
Take here from the 2 together and I enter here again. And here in the next 3 turn here, I take them all together. Oh, I enter the same one. And here I take them all together. I enter this, and in this shot all together, I enter this. And in this shot all together, I enter here. And here I take them here and here. And the last one, which is the chains that I had made to go up, I take here on Monday and make a low point. I got here, at the end I make 2 chains, turn my work around. So this one already counts as half a high point. So I'll go on the second point, just taking the back strap. And I do my half high point. Oh, I already have 3. When I take all the fibers there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, the 8 is that I take the 2. The last one, the 2 loops. Not just from behind, and I do the half high point, and look how beautiful the bar is getting. So the thicker the wire, the prettier it is. Check it out, okay? So when you get here, you make it very loose, make a chain and turn it around. You put it here in this little space at the first point and take off the loops. So this is how you do it until you reach the width here of the blouse. I'm going to do a little less so that it is more stretched. Then we'll sew it down here. Oh, but I already made it the way I explained to you in the wool of the blouse. Oh, mine is made here. Oh, the way I taught with that thicker wool, and I made my blouse. It's 50 centimeters. Let me turn it up a little bit here. It's 50 centimeters here, right? So I did 40 centimeters and plus 40. So I did 80 centimeters. What am I going to sew for now so that she stays well stretched, so that she doesn't wrinkle like she did here on her sleeve, okay? So I made it 10 centimeters smaller. Then I'm going to stretch it to sew now. So detail, I didn't cut it right. I left it here. Oh, it's waiting for the thread, because with this thread I'm going to sew with the very low stitch with the same needle that I was making the whole piece, right? So what am I going to do? I'm wearing the blouse inside out, and I'm going to leave the collar here, the sleeve.
Precisely, with the right method.
Turn it inside out properly. Wait a minute, I'll organize. Here I come back to show very clearly the position that has to stay. So here I made a 149 careers. This is the bar point. I have the blouse inside out, and here I'm going to put it like this. Oh, I'm going to bring the inside out of the bar, because then when we turn around it will be inside, right?
I'll do it.
This way, this way.
I'm definitely going to do it.
Will it get better?
So this marker.
He's marking the middle of my work. So what am I going to do? The middle I'm going to lock here. Oh, I will.
On the inside.
Like this, just like this.
Right inside.
Yeah. I'll put it right here. Oh, on this side.
So he's already there.
Stuck here, I'll put it right at the seam. Right in the middle seam. So he's stuck here in the middle. Oh, I'll wear it here inside the piece. Oh.
Right?
Right, I'll sew it here. So what will happen next? Then look, I'll open this part here. It should be correct, right? So I place it this way inside, and you can see that a piece is missing because I made it smaller to give that extra stretch. causing a wrinkle here. After clipping this part, I'll stretch it.
To arrive at this point,
And I'll secure it with the marker so it stays in place. Then I'll proceed. Follow the same procedure with the sleeves and the side, sewing with low stitches and fastening with the marker. For what purpose?
let's see if we can.
It arrived here. It arrived so that she doesn't slip. Leave the right place. So you put it this way. Oh, hold it, stretch it, make it reach the other side. Oh, here she is. I'll secure another one here.
And will you make it easier?
Oh, here comes Stretchy. He got here in the other half. Oh, put it here.
Add another marker in the same way.
You're going to do it here to this side. Oh, you're going to bring it.
Stretching him.
Stay there. I'll stretch the pane here too. If you want, you could have made the bar and already started the blouse also given, and wouldn't have that work of doing the sewing now either. Can. I arrived. Oh, I managed to bring him here. Oh, stretching. Just make sure to use the right technique. I brought the edge here. Oh, I'm going to put the marker to learn there. Close the markers here. Well, now it's all attached to my bar. This way, the blouse is inside out. I only wore it inside out to the right side, then the bar inside out. This helps when sewing and turning it around. It'll all be on the right side, right? And I can start sewing from here or there. I'm going to start from here at the tip, which is already loose. So how do I do the same thing I did? Let me just find here that I have a tip. No, you don't have to tie the string. You want to see it here? Let me just organize him here and come back with you. I came back with you. I just reversed the side so that my leftover was here on the top side so I could start sewing, right? So to make it easier, I'm going to turn it this way here so everything is the same. I just turned the side so that I didn't finish the thread here from my bar, so that it would stay up here so I could sew it on the blouse. So I'm going to turn it here a little like this. Let me pass the thread here. Just organize myself here in my space because now the piece is big, then it becomes more difficult for us to work. I'm gonna turn this place upside down. Wait a minute. Then I have my little part of it that I didn't finish. And I'm going to pose here. Oh, so it's upside down. I'm going to take it here. Oh, closer type here now. Yes, you can visualize it. So it's here. I'm going to do it here. Bring a wire here. I drink here. I got it. Now what? Doing my very low stitches, taking it in the chains where I started my career, and on the side of my beard, sewing like the whole blouse. I take it stitch by stitch, initial chains, some stitch on my bar until it circulates the entire blouse. From the bar. And I'm sewing along the whole. Oh, I'm taking stitch by stitch here. Oh, in the initial chains and some stitch here. Oh, from my bar. Then I'm going to do this until it circulates the entire blouse. Oh. I'm going to take the chain here and here somewhere on the side of the bar. And it's not far here. This very low point will be like this. The seam will be like this. And on this side, oh, after I turn to the right, it will be like this. Oh, it will be like this, okay? Right? So I'm going to continue sewing here like this with very low stitches, and then when I get here at the end, I'll come back to show us how to make this union together and finish the blouse. Just make a detail on the collar, right? So I'm doing this seam, it's getting here, oh, on the chain that I started working on, and on the side here. Dabara has no secrets. How we've been sewing so far. Low point, right? And when I get there, I'll come back with you so we can continue. I sewed it here, okay? And she gave that little frown that I wanted. Oh, she got frowned. Now it's open here. I'll show you how we're going to close. So I sewed at the beginning up to here, and now I'm going to show how we're going to close just here with very low stitches too. So I take the wire here, this bunch of wire here, then we'll hide it. So this is the wire I was coming to. So here, oh, I take it here at the door where it's open. I see it very clearly. Put it here. Stitch with stitch, and here everything is open. Oh, do as if it were a seam. Oh, then everything is open. I insert here where it is open, and here where it is open. I'm going to take my thread. I hope it can go down to the end because it is already short. I cut it, oh, it passes here with a very low point. And I'm going here, oh, on the side, oh, point and point, oh, because it is. Exactly the same. I'm going to take the top of the point, oh, top of the point here and here. Oh, I wasn't showing. Oh, so I took the top of the point here and the point there in the other row, and I'm pulling here. Very low point. As I closed, I sewed the handle on the other side. Oh, here is the chain strap where I started. And the top of the stitch where I finished. So it's going to be equal to the seam of the wrist. When we sewed the sleeve, oh, very low point, then you take it here, top of the point, end here, until you get there at the end. So I'm going to pause the video. So that the video doesn't get too long, I'm going to sew here, then I'll be back with you. When I finish, I fix this seam here, then simply taking the top of the stitch and the strap here where I started the bar. So when I get to the end there, I will come back with you to show the sewing result and show how it turned out, and then finish the collar. So there is very little left for the blouse to be ready. So this one is very laborious, this part of the sewing, but if you want, you can start this bar at the beginning there, then no, you don't need to sew it later, okay? Before starting your piece, so I'm already finishing here, my thread is over, I'm going to change it for a larger thread, then I'll come back to show you the result. So I got here, the end of my career, I'm going to cut the wire. And oops, that final wash that is united, left here with 2 threads because it's over. There was very little missing, so it's sewn. I'm going to turn my lower piece here now so you can view it. So here is the side seam, and the seam is here on the bar, okay? And I'm going to turn now so you can see the play. Okay, then I'm going to do all this finishing, hide all these leftover wires, okay? But now I'm going to turn to the right. so that you can see the piece is almost finished. Look, turn to the right side. So how's the bar? How did the sleeve turn out? Look how straight I am without the cape. Look how it turned out. Now only the finishing of the mother of the collar will be missing. Okay, I'm going to stitch back, crab stitch here to finish it off. So I'm with the blouse on the right side out, right? And here with the part, I'm going to start right here in the middle. It's on the back. Weaving the harbor crab. How am I going to weave? I'm going to start from the back. I'm going to turn it like this. Oh, the blouse is like this here, back up. Oh, here the front, here the back. I'm going to start from here to there. So I'm going to take a point here, any, you can take, I'm going to take this one right in the middle. Okay, because then it became beautiful, something like that. Stay behind, then hide it, okay? So I'm going to tie the thread like I always tie it. I put it there. I'm going to tie 2 knots and I'm going to do the crab stitch. So what's the crab point like? I'm going to make a little chain here just to hold the wire. Okay, I'll bring it closer so you can visualize it well. So what is the crab stitch like? Normally we weave it from here to here, right? And yes, come in this direction here, we are going to weave from here to here, right? Hence the name crab point. So here I have the top of the point, it will make it easier. So I'm going to go in with needle here. Oh, at the top of this point, I'm going to pull the thread and I'm going to make a low point. Oh. I pull the wire and make a low point so it will be twisted. Oh, I go to the next point. Oh, sharp teaching in the next point. I pull the wire and from the O and make the low point. Oh, the same. I go to the next one. I pull the wire and make a low point and it will get these little knots here. It will get very cute. I go to the next point. Oh, and I'm bringing that point there. Oh, the piece of thread is to finish it off, so it's going to get like this here. Oh, it's going to get really cute. Let me just see if it doesn't get any more beautiful from now on. It can also be, I don't think it's good like this, so I'm going to do it this way, right? Oh. Teaching on the next stitch. Going back, pull the thread and make the low stitch. You can leave it really loose to keep the knots. Very nice. Oh, I'll go here in the next one. I'll go in with the needle. I'll do the low point. I'll go in the next one. And make the low point. So it's coming back and it gives this beautiful effect here. Oh, this very beautiful finish to the piece. So I'm going to do it like this. It's throughout your career, right? All the top point I enter with the needle, pull the thread and make here my low point. Oh, pull the thread. Low point, enter with the needle. It pulls your low point, so it's no secret, right? I'll do it again here. Go in with needle and then I'll even be mine here. When I get there on the other side, I'll come back with you to show you how we're going to finish. That's how we're gonna end our careers here, right? So let's go around. Oh, stitch over stitch here. Oh, in the shoulder seam, you do one too. You can insert a needle here and make one here on the side either. It's the top of the stitch, but then you can see where you want to put it. You can put one here, one, but you know they're more or less the distance from these high points to continue the work. If you want two before starting the crab point, you can make a low point career, right?
and then just do the crab stitch on top. It's from the top of the point of every low point, right? I'm going to finish mine here, and as soon as I finish my career and get here again, I'll come back with you to show you how it ends.
I finished my crab stitch career here. Yeah, I decided to change and did a low point career, and then I did the crab one because I decided to do the low point to give a round here in this part. It was much prettier because it had become very square. So I made a low point career and then I made a crab career. As I was teaching you, it was very cute, very delicate, very small. And he gave here a finish similar to the little flowers, the little nuts here of the whole piece. So now I'm going to show you how the career ends here. Is the blouse ready? So now I'm going to finish here, make the last point. I put it here in this space, make the last point. So now I'm going this way. Oh, and I finish with a very low point. Leave me alone here, and now I can cut the thread. You give that little roast to tie a knot, and the career is over here. And now just hide the threads, and the blouse is ready. So I'm here with the blouse ready. Oh, then I'm just going to make the ends of the threads now that I have left, which is here, the sewing leftovers. I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm going with an upholstery needle, hide all these threads that are left here, right? So I hope you enjoyed the video.
Our blouse is ready. If you like it, leave your like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and be sure to activate notifications so you'll know when I post a new video. Until the next video lesson.